Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my colleague, Elaine Cocham. Elaine.
Thank you, John. To show how prescient we are here, I noted today, actually John noted today, that we have an article in Jane's Defense Weekly on the Air Force unveiling its first handheld laser weapon. And so it sort of demonstrates that there are these issues out there. And so without further ado, I will introduce our speaker. Dr. J. Douglas Beason is a retired Air Force colonel and is a key architect and leading expert in directed energy research for the past 26 years. He holds a PhD in laser technology physics, and he served in the White House working for President's science advisor in both the Clinton and Bush administrations. Today he is on the board of directors of the Directed Energy Professional Society, and at Los Alamos National Laboratory he is the director of threat reduction. Dr. Beason is also the author of 12 books, including some science fiction works, and he has over 100 scholarly papers and other works, and he's also a fellow of the prestigious American Physical Society. Dr. Beason? Thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for mentioning the novels. I was at a government agency this morning, and when they learned that I was going to be giving a talk today about my newest book, one of the young ladies said, well, you write fiction, don't you? And they thought that this was a fiction novel. Some people, I think, do, and that's what I hope to dispel today. But first of all, the obligatory disclaimer, this talk, the views in this talk are entirely my own. They're not to any way represent those of Los Alamos National Laboratory, Department of Defense, or Department of Energy. And with that, I'll launch right into it with the statement that hundreds, if not thousands, of lives could have been saved in Iraq if science and technology had been appropriately applied and used. So there's the statement. What do I mean by that? Well, if we were to have a program of science and technology that could produce a weapon with certain characteristics, what type of characteristics would this weapon have? Well, the first characteristic that I would want as a warfighter would be that it would be infinitely precise. That is, that you could focus it down so that there would be little or zero collateral damage. And in fact, if you were to have such a weapon, as it would turn out, and I'll give you some attributes of such a weapon later, if it was infinitely precise and you could focus it down to be infinitely precise, that would mean that it would be inherently defensive. That is, you couldn't spread it out as you could a typical weapon of mass destruction. And I'll go into some characteristics of what I mean then by being infinitely precise. The second characteristic is that I would want it to be infinitely fast. That is, I would want it to be able to deposit its effect, its weapon effect, in an action that is faster than the blink of an eye. And in fact, such a technology exists, along with infinitely fast precision, or infinitely precise application, that you have a near infinitely fast application of force. In fact, at the speed of light, with 186,000 miles a second, which can really, which really means a way for us as humans to think about this as encircling the Earth more than 7 times in less than a second. That's how fast light travels. So the third characteristic, along with infinitely fast and being infinitely precise, would be able to, what I call, give you the opportunity to dial an effect. That is, currently right now, the only way that we have to apply force is a binary system, 0, 1. Either you apply force or you don't. And the effects are usually binary too. You can either shout at somebody, that is, you don't apply force, or you shoot them. You can kill them. By dialing an effect, it gives the warfighter a means now to have a graduated effect, to be able to do everything from denying an adversary access to either their own weapon system, to a space, to be able to destroy that adversary, or be able to upset that adversary. To give the warfighter the opportunity to be able to determine what situation are they in, what type of effect do I want to deliver. Well, as it turns out, this type of technology does exist. And under the auspices of, and you've probably guessed it, directed energy. And that's what I'll be talking about today. So the good news is that directed energy exists, directed energy is being tested, and within a few years,
of capability.
directed energy give you the opportunity to dial an effect. By dialing an effect, to have a graduated effect, and what type of effect do I want to deliver? To be able to do everything from denying an adversary access. Well, as it turns out, this type of technology does exist, and under the auspices of, and you've probably guessed, and that's what I'll be talking